podcast YouTube channel where each week I interview a new dancer, mover, shaker in our industry. Before you check out the episode, please be sure to subscribe to our channel and also check out the full library on iTunes and Google Play Music. Enjoy!
I had lost my place in the love of dance. And so at one point, my agents and managers had a meeting with me. And I had a contract to renew. And they were very concerned, because they thought I had too many shrimps on my plate, as they said. You had too many things on your plate. You need to think about this, Victor. And so I said, so if I don't sign this contract, I'm out of here. They're like, yeah. They're like, but we're concerned. But at that time, I lost all my money that I made during David Bowie. I lost it all. My family embezzled it, but I don't want to talk about that. But
Okay.
but I lost everything when I came back from Bowie. For whatever reason, the universe said poop, and it was gone. And so I had to start from scratch, and that's when I started doing charity because I had so much anger. I wanted to kill people. I wanted to beat people up. Not kill people. But I want to hurt, and so I got on the road and put my energy into working out. And I would go to the clubs and dance, and then I just started doing charity, and then Pilates came around, and then for me, I'm very blessed that I wake up with a heartbeat every day, to be honest with you. You know what I mean? I have a really strong connection with my faith. We're like this sometimes because I don't want to do the work, but I have no other choice. I've been to Israel. I walked the Christ things. I loved it. I almost moved there.
To Israel?
Yeah.
My mom's from Israel?
No.
Yeah, my mom's from Israel.
Oh my God, I almost moved there.
Wow.
Because I saw and I was like, it's so magical. It's so
Yeah.
magical. I mean, I went to Sea of Galilee, I went to Bethlehem, I went to Masada, I walked up Masada, I didn't take the elevator. I did everything, and when I came back from there, the only reason I didn't move there is because the culture is a little harsh. It's like New York. And I'm Mexican, and I'm used to excuse me, thank you, and pardon me, and do you mind? And doesn't.
There are no lines in Israel. You don't form lines.
No, and the reason is, and my ex at the time told me, he's like, Victor, we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, so we live like it's going to be it. So I understand that passion. Me growing up in projects with gangs and everything, I understood it, but for me it was like if I see someone, I'm like, good morning, how are you? And he would always say, why do you always have to say good morning? I said, because I'm having a good morning. But they never answer. I said, doesn't bother me. I'm saying it because I'm having a good morning. Whether they say good morning back or not, it has nothing to do with me. So one of the things that I've never changed is who I am, regardless of what I have to do. I always go back to who I am. And surviving myself in my head is not the easiest things to begin with. So that's why nothing worries me. So.
You know that you gave the best intro that I won't even do justice to.
Which one?
So I could, when I asked you what you'd like me to lead with in the intro, that was your intro.
What was it?
You gave it when you started going down. Well, I've worked with Grace Jones and you did your. I'm gonna keep it that way.
Okay.
It's art. The only other thing I always like to give context of how we know each other, and then I have some questions to start asking you.
We've been in New York, right?
No.
Oh, here.
Yeah, I think it was through
Tyrone's class. No.
I think it was when you taught with Anna Sanchez like years ago. You did
When I
a
first
partner.
yes. And was it an evolution?
Yeah.
Because I remember you had when did you have thigh-high boots? So you had these really awesome boots.
That I couldn't.
Well,
that was,
I'm not going to say anything about
I couldn't. These shoes ate me. They had like platforms. They were high. I had no like middle growing step. It was it was
Alright, so we can talk about everyone.
Yeah, no, so the way we know each other, I think it's Kumari had bringing in some of the pioneers, or that was my perspective.
No. She brought you guys to class or started talking because her and Anna did not get along.
Oh, I didn't know that.
That's why she would leave after my class was done.
Oh, okay.
One of the things that I talked about Hip Hop International, because Hip Hop International is bringing me back to talk about urban culture. And because unfortunately I'm the only one left, you know that. All my punk friends are dead. And everybody else, they learned the dance. That's what I just spoke about last night on my Instagram for all the young kids. It's like everybody has learned the dance. Nobody is original. and it's unfortunate that no one talks about what we were about. It really just, it's become a business, and I understand that, and I'm very aware of that, and I spoke about it on Hip Hop International last year about it doesn't bother me that it's become a business.
Just picking it up. Keep talking.
It doesn't bother me that there's evolution of this dance, because that's really what it is. The spelling with the double A doesn't bother me, as long as you don't take our history and make it yours, and that's what's happened. They've taken our history and things that I've written, because when I was brought back by someone that will remain unmentioned, she brought me back and showed me clips of what was going on. She goes, Victor, they're changing the history. You need to come back. And everybody assumed we were all dead. So I saw interviews of people that are still teaching now. And I was like, wait, what are they saying? She goes, you need to fix it. I can't do this. I have something else to do. So I started coming back, and that's where I was with Anna for a bit. But then quickly I started realizing that it had become something else than originally what it was. And I went with it, but I would just stay in the history and say in the history. It's like you go boom, boom, boom. And what I did, but it was very unconscious and clever a long time ago, is I gave the names out of my friends. I read them out, and everybody wrote, and I put them on my Instagram, on Facebook, because I wasn't even doing Instagram then. And but I misspelled one of my friends' names on purpose. My friend Lonnie, I spelled it Loonie, like a female, but his name is Lonny, like a boy. And so I did that just to play around. And right now, there's people making money off of the names of my friends with that wrong spelling. So I know they've taken my history. I know they've taken, and for me, this is another thing that I'm a little. It's like there is no famous whackers. Tinker was not a famous whacker. Arthur was not a famous whacker. We were punkers. We never called ourselves whackers. When we danced, there was a word, punk, the post, whack, run, hit. So we used the word whack to describe, like I told you from the TV series Batman and Robin, the fight scenes. So the word whack came out, and that's what we started calling it whacking, because of our arm movements. But there was posing involved, there was floor work involved, and so they took one word and made it into a whole dance. And that's why lots of times when you see whacking nowadays, they're adding other elements because they don't know where it really came from. They don't know where the word came from. They don't know where we got the influence from. They don't know that Star Wars in 1977, when it came out with the lifesavers, influenced us a lot because we pretended we had lifesavers when we danced. They don't know that the posing came from Julie Newmar, Little Abner. And Julie Newmar is Catwoman, who also was in the TV series Batman. She had a stupefying Jones. She had a part where she would come out of a rocket and move, wham, and freeze people, and they would freeze. So we got the posing idea from that. Hit a magnificent pose, everybody else freezes. There's also, from Beach Black and Bingo, Eric Bonzippa from the 60s with Annette Funicello, where there was a Himalayan touch where one of the guys would touch a bad guy and they would freeze. So when we were actually dancing, we were playing tag.
Oh my God, I want to hear more, like kind of,
yeah.
Let's just get into that. So whacking, punking, posing, the history, and I'm sorry if you're repeating something that you've maybe shared a bunch of times.
No.
Oh, but I want to know from
you. You to know it.
Yeah, I want to know.
Because this is what I'm sharing, and what's great about this is that, the Latin community, there's people going to Mexico, and I said to them 4 years ago, I said, you guys have to be aware, because once these people get a hold on the fact that you guys are learning this style, they're going to come in and start giving you and feeding you and everything. So be aware. It's the same thing with voguing. I said to them, those houses are going to be clamoring on you guys, and then you're going to be feeling wonderful because you belong to a house in Europe. When in reality, they don't care about you. They just care about coming to Mexico to teach, to make money. And it's become a business.
So you said that, sorry, to your friends in Mexico or here?
In Mexico.
Ah.
And it's happening now.
Ah.
It's happening now. It happened in South America already.
That you mean they're going to be people that want to go and travel and teach are going to be like extra...
They just do this for its business.
Mm-hmm.
And because they're American, they get more credibility. I've always said I'm Mexican. Which in Mexico, they don't believe me. I was like, I'm an OG. I'm part of this style. And so, had I said I was American, it would have been a whole different story. but I never let go of my roots. And so whenever I've gone someplace, for example, when I went to China to teach, I said, what about your Chinese culture? Like, why aren't you using it in this style? I mean, don't you guys do like this, and that? And yeah, I said, don't think, I said, America, we were black, we were Filipino, we were Mexican, Michelangelo was half Japanese, and China was Chinese, and Caribbean, I mean, from the Virgin Islands, we were not all one race. We just happened to have the fact that we had the same concept of expressing ourselves, and we related to it because we knew movies. We had read the same books. And so we used to just express, as I call it all the time, I said, punking is expression from oppression, or expressing beauty from ugly and creating art from your pain. That's what punking is. Is if you take, that's what when I saw you the other day, I was having a hard day, so I just went and danced it off.
Yeah.
And that's what we did.
Yeah, it was so cool. We went to Carrie from Carnival's birthday, and I go in there and I'm thinking like, okay, there's not a lot of people. No one, there's like 3 people on the dance floor, and Viktor, who I haven't seen in so long, he was like, what are you doing? And it's just like, let's just dance, just do anything, just dance. And then I was brought back to, get out of, this needs to be the most impressive thing ever in the middle of the dance floor and just live. And I had a ball that night. Thank you.
Yeah.
And I feel like I had a breakthrough also. A breakthrough and a ball.
Yeah. But see, that's what people don't understand. That this is what we used to, if it wasn't for dance, I wouldn't be here. Dance got me out of the projects. Dance, the anger that I had for the world, when I put it into dance class, I used to dance 8-9 hours a day.
So I'm going to do this because there's like so many places to go. I will go chronologically.
Okay.
What was your training like when you were young with dance, ballet, and jazz? How did you train?
I didn't start training till I was 20 years old.
Can we see your feet real quick? Look at that. His arches, like, geez. Jeez! Till you were 20 years old.
Yes.
And you were born with turnout and flexibility in feet.
Not flexibility.
Okay.
My feet have always are crappy now.
Allegedly.
Sorry.
No.
I had no stretch.
What?
I had no stretch. I was, because I did folk dancing before that as well, and I was a cowboy. When I was 16. And then when I was finding out that I was a gay man or a gay kid, I started getting away from the situation because I didn't want my father to be affected by it, because he didn't like it at all. So then I got away from the Mexican dancing and the cowboy, and I went into the clubs when I was like 17. I had a fake ID. Yes. And then I found these friends of mine. It was Tinker, I think it was Tinker, Michael, and Arthur, that I saw first. And I was like, I could do that. Because for me, it was just about behavior and poses. And then I used to do a deer dance in Mexican folk dancing that you imitated a deer. So all I did was a deer dance in punking, but it looked like the posing that they were doing, because you're looking and you're posing and you're doing. And then we started talking about the movies. So we used to take chunks of Sunset Boulevard and recreate them, or King Kong, and recreate them on the floor. So we would take parts of movies and put them into a dance, and that's how it happened. We tried to do the Frankenstein walk at one point, but it was stupid and silly, and we just didn't add it. So we started adding things to our fun games. And so when Tinker came back with this, that changed everything.
Where did that come from?
Bruce Lee and the Nunchucks. Because the Enter the Dragon was very popular then. And then everybody also was doing towel dancing in the gay clubs. So Tinker did, and that started with Vicky Sue Robinson, and the pop, 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 pop on the floor. Yeah, that's the first time he did it. So then we started doing versions of it.
And were you calling it punking then, or did it just not have a name?
It was punking then.
Punking.
We started calling it punking, believe it or not. Before, when I started with my friends in 75, 76, there was no name. We were just having fun. But the irony was that, we only met at the clubs. We didn't even know where we lived. And one of my friends had a boyfriend in jail. So he would always get in trouble to go see his boyfriend. And so, so, am I able to, you can cuss or you can't cuss?
Oh, you can cuss, you
All
can
right.
go there.
Well, Michelangelo
asking.
said, oh, you're nothing but a punk, so you're just a guy's bitch. So punk, when you're a punk, you're low life. You're someone's, you're a punk. You're worthless. And so, that's when we started to call it punking, because we were all punks. We were fags. So what we did is, what punking comes, ing means to act on, which a lot of people don't even know that. It's like, if you put exciting or talking, ing puts the active action into a situation. So a punk is a person, and ing is that person is activating who he is. So what we did, because gay culture does that all the time, takes a negative and makes it into a positive, we punked the music. We made the music into our bitch.
Oh my god.
So my some of the things that I've said is music is my bitch and rhythm is my slave. Because I'm a punk. That's why I can dance to anything. Whether it's done well or not, doesn't matter. But music is and also the beautiful thing about the music, because everybody says that disco had nothing to do with it.
Huh.
We were doing it before disco.
Can you elaborate? So what kind of was it?
Papa, the first song that started, the heartbeat of everything was Papa Was a Rolling Stone.
Dun, dun. Was it Michelangelo's version?
Michelangelo played it.
Okay.
He would just take the instrumental part, and wherever we would go to a club, he would tell the DJ play that. And then the second one was Shaft. The instrumental part of Shaft. That was more active action. Then there was Quartz, the piano. So those three songs were it. Papa Was a Rolling Stone, Shaft, and Quartz. So then he started playing Prince just as long as we were together, the Jelly Jam, the musical break. And a Jelly Jam is when the musicians, if you put it on, look it up, a Jelly Jam for a musician means when the musicians have a free-for-all and just freestyle.
Oh.
So we would just take the instrumental parts of music and he would mix them together.
And
Never words. He never used any disco, no words, ever words, because we had a story to tell. So why do we need words?
And can we, just for the audience, the listeners, can we introduce Michelangelo?
Michelangelo. He was actually, he was older than all of us. He, like all of us did, but he more so than ever. He painted, he drew, he did poetry. He was an amazing musician. He was half Japanese and half white. His last name was Harris. Michelangelo Harris.
His name was really Michelangelo. What?
Yeah, Michelangelo Harris.
Wow.
For whatever reason, he really got into the musicality aspect of being a DJ, and he would play songs for us because he knew that we loved to dance, and so he would find pieces and play them for us. And sometimes he would get an instrument part of a song and speed it up or slow it down and then add the bass. So he was, and the way that he would cater to us, he was like our Svengali. He created really what it was about. If you wanted to enter a contest and you were a punk, you had to earn the rights to earn a song. You had to earn the rights to use the song.
Wow.
So he would put a song for you. And if you punked it, it was your song. And if you didn't, he would take it off in the middle and say, thank you. So that's how he was with us.
Oh my God.
If he didn't like the way you were dancing, he would take the music off. So that's how we got the rights to use a few songs. I was able to use one song. There was only two of us that were able to use one song. That was Andrew. Andrew and myself were able to use Prince just as long as we're together. Nobody else was. And then Lonnie used to use Sweet Lucy. Tommy used to use Shaft, I believe. And Tinker would just use whatever he wanted. But we had a right to use a song. And anybody that entered the contest. And that was at Gino's, a club on Vine, Santa Monica and Vine. That's where Diana Ross came to see and pick dances for the show.
So that was competitive. So punking became competitive in some way, or
for everybody else, yes. For us, no. We were just having fun. But there was a contest that you would enter.
Okay.
Once a month, and then they would have the semifinals and the grand finals at the end of the year.
And I always thought of it as social dance because of Soul Train, because of like what I saw on Soul Train.
Very different.
Very different.
Very different. So on Soul Train, it was more of looking good and dancing and that. But in Gino's, it was more about you went in there and you broke a sweat and you see people on the mirror and they were practicing steps. And you've never been to Gino's 3? The club that I started?
Unless I went to a ball there.
Yes.
There's
I
a
think-
night where we got
Yes.
very sweaty.
Yes.
That was, yeah. I have a picture of us.
Oh, that's right. That was Gino Street, like
Okay.
way in town LA someplace.
Yes.
Well, I restarted that club
Oh,
again.
that's awesome.
And all those people that were there were original kids back in the day that used to go to Gino's. And so they would have a contest, and I don't think ever. Tommy and everybody always entered the contest. From what I recall, I won the last one. I won grand champion in 79-80 when I entered, and you would win $500, which back in the 70s was a lot of money.
I'm excited about $500 now.
Yeah. So, but we started and that's when Shabadoo would come in and do locking, and so all styles of dance would come in and do their routines to compete. But we never competed against each other. There was no battling each other. It was just you enter the contest, you dance by yourself, and then you would let go. And so it was a lot of funk music sped up, or jazz music with extra bass. And the funny thing that he would do when he would know that people were coming to steal his music or come in, he would speed up the music crazy. Like there were certain people he didn't like that didn't like him, that are still around, and he would change the music. And we know that someone's here, so we better just, he was major shady. He had he had on his DJ booth, if you want top 20 or disco, go home.
I love it. I love it.
So, he actually also was friends with Willie Ninja, because Willie Ninja entered the contest at Gino's in 78, 79.
Wow.
He was in LA, and I remember seeing him dance, and he danced to Led Zeppelin, Kashmir.
Wow.
Because I remember he did the walk thing, boom, 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 and the
wow.
whole hieroglyphics and he never came back for the Grand Champions though, but I remember seeing him in the 70s. So the disco music is something that was tagged on to make it relevant to dance whacking. And I love it because people it did make it for what it is, and if it wasn't for whacking, I wouldn't be talking to you. Which is why I have nothing against it. It's just when you're taking chumps our history and claiming it as a double A whacking that I have a problem with.
And I've been spelling it double A. I want to be very responsible since I learned it.
Because
Yeah. Now I'm like, so I go to WH.
if you want it, well,
Ooh, what do I do?
well, you can have WH because it does have a meaning. If you look up double A, it doesn't have a definition. It doesn't mean anything.
Is that okay? I'm
No,
having
you can do whatever you want.
Huh.
And but once this is one of the things. Once
Yeah.
people know the history,
Yeah.
if you're going to spell it with an H, you're going to have to talk about the history. But if you don't want to talk about the history and just collect your coins, then spell it with a double A. And that's where I have the problem. Because it's like we have to start taking responsibility. Because if you spell it with an H, then you have to talk about the history, you have to talk about the gay culture, you have to talk about the 70s, you have to talk about the fact that we had commercials with Anita Bryant and all these people that wanted us killed or hated or changed into a different sex, and we were sins and we were horrible. And as a child, when you grow up with that, it affects you. So I just spoke to someone yesterday that invited me to Whacking Wednesdays up in Torrance someplace, and I said, I'm not putting a like on it because boom, boom. He's like, oh, I know, but I think it's. I said, no, I want you to understand that there's a responsibility that comes with. So if I put a like to your thing and if I show up to your thing just for fun, then what am I really doing? And that's why yesterday I posted it. It's about what's being forgotten. That's what I'm about this year. Because without sounding the way it is, I am the last one left. So what happens if I leave here and something happens to me?
No.
But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's gone.
Yeah.
So that's why.
Because you're first generation.
Because I'm adamant about no. This is good, but no.
Okay.
So if you want to spell it with an H, know that that's a responsibility you're gonna have.
Yeah.
And since you are a journalist,
but I'm all for the accountability.
we have to start
it.
being accountable.
Absolutely.
I spoke about it at Hip Hop International. We had a conference. When I was there with Don Campbell and Tony Basil and all these, I spoke about this. Sorry.
No. This sofa does that.
I'm like messing it up.
No, it's not.
Okay.
It's the sofa.
I spoke about that, and I spoke about the history and about the double A. And I said, and within that, I said, and I understand where people still spell it with a double A to collect coins because it's become a business. People have to pay their bills. That was a jab. But it's true. I said, it doesn't bother me. I said, it just saddens me that we are being forgotten.